When you choose to earn your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University, you're saying yes to new opportunities and to new adventures. You're saying yes to something big, something you've always wanted to do. If earning your degree is one of your goals this new year, SNHU can help you get there. With low online tuition, no set class times, and multiple term starts per year, you can set the pace that works for you and save money along the way. Visit snhu.edu today to get started.
When you share your food, you share your heart. So what's on your table this holiday season? Save on your festive feast at Kroger with delicious deals on all the holiday classics. Or wow the crowd with something new, like a quinoa stuffed butternut squash. It's sure to add a pop of color to your spread. How about a sweet potato casserole with a crunchy oat streusel topping, made with care for the sweet tooth and the savory tooth? With Kroger, fill your table with love and watch as your guests' hearts get as full as their bellies. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today I'm here with Dr. Kamani, who is a psychologist, and Dr. Roche, who is a financial psychiatrist. And that's something for y'all, because I have never heard of that before until I was put on game. So we're going to start with Dr. Kamani. Just tell us about yourself and your career and how you ended up here.
Yes. Well, first, Brandy, thank you for allowing us to be here today. I love your videos.
Thank you.
So I am Dr. Kamani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I'm originally from Chicago, but I live in Los Angeles. And I really help Black women leave and heal from toxic jobs, which is really informed by my own experiences leaving the most toxic job I've ever had. And because I've gone through so much at that toxic job, physically, psychologically, all that kind of stuff, it kind of beat me down. Part of my healing was to start a YouTube channel and to talk about my healing journey, but also to show other Black women that they're not alone, healing's possible, and we have options. And one of the ways that I like to show options for Black women is to provide different resources. So we have the Financial Masterclass, which we're going to be talking about, because I partnered with Dr. Roche Brown when I was at a very toxic job, because I knew that finances was the one keeping me there, worried about how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to replace my income. So I said, if finances is the big issue, I need to work with an expert who can help me. So again, Dr. Roche Brown is a financial psychologist, and I was like, I got to work with her. And it just helped me create my financial exit plan.
Awesome. Ma'am, I am so thankful for you, because that platform, we know that in corporate America, it is so hard just existing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, you don't even have to be at the highest of the heights, but just the fact that you are existing in that space can place you in so much turmoil. And then if you're dealing with jealousy, you're dealing with all these other things inside of the workplace, it can make the environment a difficult one to survive in. And we don't want to just survive. We want to thrive. We want to live.
Yes.
And that's what, a lot of women are finding themselves in these positions where they're just surviving. So this is where
really getting harmed, like significant harm.
Yes. And you don't realize it. We talked about that on your YouTube channel. We're talking about people don't realize until, their body kind of starts to go down, their mental health starts to decline. And that's when you kind of find yourself in situations like that. And you realize, I have a real situation here.
Yes.
I have a real problem here.
Yes. And it's not going to get better the longer you stay. It actually gets worse.
And then you're just riding in a vehicle, letting nobody drive. You just riding in a car. It's a dangerous thing
all around. Yes.
You have to really make that final decision. And then when you make that final decision, that's when you need to go talk to Dr. Roche.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, Doc.
Okay, so I am Dr. Roche Brown. I am also known as the Doctor of Rethinking, because I help people to remix their thinking so they can make money, they can manage their money, and they can multiply their money.
Okay.
So we all want to make it, manage it, and multiply it, okay? And like you said, I am a financial psychologist. So that started as me being a licensed clinical psychologist. I've been in the, doing the work since 2006 as a licensed clinical psychologist. About 9 years ago, I ended up transitioning into financial psychology. It really what was happening is that a lot of my clients that were in private practice, they were struggling with like financial issues. So financial trauma will impact like couples relationships. It was impacting people's, staying at jobs. Those were like aspects that were happening. There were many things that were happening, and I was like, hey, we need to figure out how to have boundaries with ourselves around money, and as well as having boundaries with others, because those things are affecting us. And so that's what the financial psychologist kind of like morphed into a different space. And then I started to learn even more practical skills to give people around money. So I teach them the tangible and the intangible things that are necessary around money.
That is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome. Y'all hear that? Say your saying one more time. You tell them, do the ear, because I want to see the
Yes,
earrings
so I'm the
again.
doctor of rethinking, and I help people to remix their thinking so they can make money, they can manage their money, and they can multiply their money. Let's go.
Baby, it's the earrings and the necklace for me.
Yes.
Okay. We are being very intentional with those things. Make your money. Manage your money. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
You need to understand. I'm a money doctor for real, okay?
Yes, I love the energy. And y'all, one of the things that that I have noticed just, in my own experiences of working with people, that it's really hard to get people to make that decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Scary.
And it's the scariest thing. And I talk about it on social media, like it's an easy decision, but sometimes it really is, and we're just making it very hard.
Yes.
We're overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
We're over analyzing every single thing. And so what do you do, Dr. Kamani, when you get to that spot where you kind of feel like I need to move on? How do you recognize and reconcile that feeling? Because some people, their career has become their everything.
Yes.
And when you walk away from something that you have nurtured, that, it's like a baby. You have grown it up and raised it up. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and say, you know what, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I want to transition out. How do you deal with those emotions?
Well, there's a lot of different things tied into that, because when you start recognizing that a job is harming you, like you start experiencing symptoms like don't want to get up that day, crying on your way to work, crying in the bathroom, all these other things, Sunday scaries. So you start experiencing these things. But many times as Black women, we will rationalize and say, they're not going to run me out this job. I'm not weak. I'm not a punk. You're not going to take this away from me. And then we dig in harder, and then we work harder, and we try to think, or we lie to ourselves that if we work harder, then the things at the job will change. And it's not going to change. It's just going to get worse. And so we keep doing this lie to ourselves, or we say, oh, well, it's not that bad. I'll just go on vacation. I'll just wait for my vacation, or I'll buy myself something. So it's like pacifying ourselves. So many times we're lying to ourselves. It takes a long time for many of us to get to the realization that I need to leave this job, because we have been socially programmed as Black women that we do not leave. We fight people, right? That we stand for what we believe in. And we have also been taught as Black women, particularly if our parents were boomers, we were taught, you get that job, that good job, you stay there, you get the retirement, you better not leave that good job to get benefits. So now we're dealing with all the social programming. We recognize on some level that this job is not good for me, but we really start believing that the job is the only place where we can make money. So we start associating leaving a job with becoming homeless. Like we have that fear that if we leave that particular job, that we will end up being homeless. And so the fear keeps us there. So for many Black women who are in toxic jobs, because so many of us are in toxic jobs, many of us will stay because we're so scared of the possibility of, well, what would happen if I leave? Like you really can't even envision the possibility that you can really move on. And many of us have people around us, our parents, our friends, our cousins, other people around us, our friends start projecting their fears onto us and say, girl, you better leave that job, girl. It's not that bad. Just do this. All jobs are toxic. You might as well just stay. So for a woman, a Black woman, to get to the point of, I got to get out of here, she's usually gone through a progression of different things, right? It's probably like
a myriad of emotion.
Years. And she's gone through like beat downs, right? She's tried this, she's tried to get clarity, she's tried to do all these different things. And finally it gets to a point after all these things you've tried, right? All the signs that God is showing you, this is not the place for you. It gets to a certain point where some Black women say, this is enough. Like, no. And they start exit planning. Okay. Some Black women know, they wait till it's too late and they just go off and they just quit immediately. We don't want that. We don't want that because then it doesn't put you in a good situation. What we are trying to offer is, let's come up with the exit plan. So if you start recognizing, this is not the place for me, how do you create an exit plan? And the biggest thing that I really want to stress to Black women is, if finances is the main thing keeping you at the job, if that's the issue, then we need to come up with a plan. Okay. You can't keep avoiding, I don't want to think about the money, but I just know I can't afford it. Well, how do you know that? Have you looked at your money? No, but I just know I can't. I just know I got, right? So we have to be intentional. We have to confront the fear because the fear is normal. You're going to experience fear. So don't think if you feel fear, oh my God, that must mean I need to stay. No, it does not mean that. It means let's get your plan together. You need to get a plan together so you can get out of here. And for Black women who are planning to exit out, those who do best are those who get an exit plan. They start executing the exit plan and they don't tell people at their job about what their plan is for leaving. They move in silence. They don't tell other people. And they transition out.
Like this.
Yes.
Y'all, unless you're in the Patreon, you can't really see this.
Yes.
But what me and Dr. Roche is doing, we putting our hand behind our ears and saying, that's good.
Yes.
Because she is right on the money.
Yes.
Don't tell nobody about any plan that you got.
No.
Because they will sabotage you.
Yes, they will.
Left and right. And they'll be like,
they will.
Why you
or just increase your self-doubt.
Oh,
That's the problem. Like, you already have self-doubt. They might increase it.
How you gonna pay your bills?
Right. Yes. Exacerbate your fears.
Oh yeah, they love doing that, especially if you tell them. If you let people know what you're doing or what you're planning, it's like you might as well not be doing anything at all because you ain't.
Right.
They didn't got hold to your idea. They got a hold to your dream or something that you want to do, baby. They finna do everything to stop you from doing it because they're not achieving anything. They're not doing anything. I was talking on the phone with my friend literally minutes before this phone call, and I said, "Girl, I don't know how my granddaddy worked at GM and that airport for 50 years. There's no way."
So I don't understand either. That's the me and the millennials level too.
Yes.
I got about 4 years for you, maybe 5.
And I think when we look at what our ancestors went through, like our grandparents and all of these people had to go through for us to be here right now. Like I can't imagine either, right? But they do all that so we don't have to. And so we have to say, wait a minute, I don't have to stay at this job. I have other options. Even though I feel like I don't, let me explore it first without just saying, no, that's not even possible. Right. Black women, no matter what your income level is, what your profession is, this is across the board. This is not just, oh, you make a certain amount of money, so you have the luxury of doing that. No, all Black women, we have options.
And no matter what kind of your socioeconomic status is, you can go back to work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is an option. If it really does not work out for you, separating from the workplace does not, you can always go back.
Yes.
That's why you need to leave.
Always going to be there for you. They always looking for bodies.
They're always looking for somebody.
Yes. And I think it's just a different way of thinking for us as Black people. Like, we can go to a different job. You can leave that job and go to a different job. Okay, but you can do that, right? You can have your own business if you want to do that. You can have side hustles and have a job. There's different options. And when we think about working, we have to think as Black people, not to be dependent on one job, one source of income. We have to be more strategic and have multiple streams of income, because when you have that one, they dangling the carrot, and they can make you do anything, they can manipulate you. So we have to say, wait a minute, I'm taking my freedom back. I'm going to create multiple streams of income. So I'm not dependent on one job.
Yes.
I know that's right. You ate that right on up, Miss Kamani. Yes. I mean, doctor.
No, girl.
You know, baby, you know, I got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? I got to respect the doctor. But you did a good job articulating that. And I think that once people get that timeline, like what you were describing is the timeline of when the problems start.
Yes.
When you get that first, like, you know what? I really could just lay in my bed. I don't feel like going to this job. And it starts with the words. Once the words start coming out, because you think them for a long time. But when the words start coming out, and then they start coming out in action.
Yes. Right. You start calling off a work. Like that's a clear sign. Like I don't want to go in. And then you notice there's a frequency. I don't go in every Monday. Like all of those things. Like why she never comes in? All your coworkers know something's always going on.
Yes.
Like, I'm real sick.
Every Monday.
Like she's always sick.
How it can even translate into how you are at home.
So
the toxicity of the job, you so stressed out about the job and beat down whatever. When you get home, you just cranky,
irritable, stank attitude. Nobody want to be around you. Your husband, your spouse, your partner, your kids. Nobody.
Nobody want to be around Ma. She got a nasty attitude. I want to go and hug my mama. Ew.
We only like her Saturday night, because Sunday she gonna start tripping again. She gotta go to get ready for work.
I told y'all. You remember I told you, Dr. Kamani, when I knew I was sick of that church, every Sunday I was getting up mad.
Wow.
In a rage, and I just couldn't pinpoint what it was. And I'm like, then after a while we get into COVID, and I'm like, it's this church.
Yeah.
It's the church, because now I'm not getting up and going to church.
Yeah.
And I feel happy and refreshed.
It's the people. I'm not tired of being around them folk. And so once you start feeling that, you start, acting on the thoughts, because it starts with thought. Then you start putting it to words. Then it's the action. It's like a snowball effect.
Exactly. Yeah.
So do you recommend, like, when we have those feelings, when we have those emotions, do you recommend discussing it with a psychologist? Like, which way do you start? Do you start with Dr. Kamani and then see Dr. Roche? I want your opinion on that, Dr. Roche.
Yeah, I think there's different levels, right?
Yeah.
I believe that if you have a support system, meaning like your friends or your family, you may start with them. And that's okay. Right? Let's start with the basics, right? We don't have to, just go out and get somebody just yet. But if it's continuing on, then you would see a Dr. Kamani, because Dr. Kamani is going to help you, because she is a toxic job survivor, right? Liberator, right? So she's already going to notice those signs, and also give you permission to say, like, it's okay to feel this way, because that's exactly what I felt too, right? And so those are going to be those helpful things. Then when you and Dr. Kamani decide, leave. Okay. That is when you would most likely come to see me. To say, like, hey, I really need an exit plan around the finances, because that is one of the biggest fears. So what we have noticed in talking to women who are in toxic jobs, the thing that holds people there is the money. Right? Like, it's the good job, good income, good benefits. I always call it's the golden handcuffs, right? So you feel like you have to be there at this job. And so a lot of times we assume we need a certain amount of money before we can leave. And we don't even know what that is. It's some type of vague number, abstract, something that's going on in our mind, that if I had $70,000, right,
in the bank.
It got to be $1 million. I don't even make $1 million at my job,
an hour,
but I need $1 million before I can leave. stuff like that, right? And so that's all these fears, that will come up. And so then I'm able to help you look at the numbers and face those fears. Now, when it comes down to even outside of toxic jobs, people are afraid of money, right? We're afraid. Everybody avoids money.
Talking about
they
it.
don't like to look at numbers. I always say people hate math, but they love money.
Yes.
Right. So just the math aspect of it will make you say, I don't want to look at this. I don't want to look at this. And we just hope for things are going to just work out. Right. I just hope that there's going to be some savings in my account. I just hope I'm going to retire one day. We just are living in hopes, not saying like, hey, let's just look at it. Right. And then a lot of times we have a lot of, shame and embarrassment.
Yeah.
Right. And judgment on ourselves for how we have managed money in the past. Right. We've all made like money mistakes. We literally knew that we didn't have the money. We still spent it. Okay. On things that we really didn't need to impress people we didn't even like. Okay. We have done it. Right.
Yes.
Why you have to slap us in the face like that?
Yeah, right. I'm just saying.
Why we need violence today?
I'm just saying. We didn't need this, okay? But that's what we do, right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
And so we all have those kind of mistakes, right? Or maybe we've got a lump sum of money before in the past and we just like squandered it, went through it very quickly or whatever the case is. And so all of those money issues that have nothing to do with this job is showing up.
Yeah.
Right? At the point that you're saying, I want to leave.
Yeah.
And now you realize you done squandered everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
All gone.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's when that's when we kind of start talking about those money issues. Right.
Yeah.
And then a lot of, we specifically talk to Black women and, I'm first generation and going to college and let alone like getting a doctorate degree within my family. And so for me, it's like nobody ever taught me about money, and I have a degree. Right. And so like we look at like professional women or just all of us, nobody talks about financial literacy in our families. Right. They don't teach you about budgeting. They don't teach you how to save. Like a lot of those things are not taught. And so that's why we make so many mistakes, and then what we're doing in usually our 30s and 40s is trying to recover and unlearn those mistakes.
Because we was balling out at 20 with that financial aid. Knowing you got to pay 4 months of rent.
Right. I always talk about the credit card situation too. Like when I was in college, I'll never forget this.
They got me.
Yeah, that they were giving us free little knickknacks for signing up for credit cards. Okay. And we just were signing up for them. We didn't understand how they worked. Nothing like that, and a lot of people will be in debt and they only owe like $2,000. And they be like, maybe I should file bankruptcy. Like that ain't no money. You know what I'm saying? Like
$2,000.
It'd be like little to nothing. When you're 22, 23, you feel like that's a lot of money.
It might as well be $1 million.
It might as well be. How am I going to pay it? Right? It'll be like literally no money.
Oh
and
my
you
God.
be feeling that kind of way, right? Or even people like even $10,000. Sometimes we assume that we can't pay or we can't get out of debt, and it's not even true. But we allow that stuff to like paralyze us to be able to move forward within our lives. And so those are the things that I like, I notice those things as somebody's even considering the idea of like, hey, let's like, I want to leave my job. Well, let's deal with some of those issues first, right? Let's look at these numbers, right? Let's look at what the data tells us. Data is just information. It doesn't have to be charged with so much emotion, right? But it's just information. Let's look at these numbers and stop avoiding them. Let's notice some ways that we can actually increase cash flow in your life, right? And that might mean stopping doing stuff that we don't need to do. One thing that we notice that when people are stressed, right? Like we have cortisol levels in our body, okay? Cortisol is like the stress hormone. And a lot of times we're trying to like reduce that cortisol. And the way in which we do that is through like, I don't know why my technical self just wants to come in right quick, y'all.
Enter in.
Okay, it's coming, okay? But it's like dopamine is a chemical of pleasure, right? And it helps reduce our cortisol. Well, how do we go about doing that, right? Chipotle. It can be retail therapy, right? Online shopping, Amazon. What you say?
Chipotle. Yeah,
Chipotle. I was going to go there too.
Y'all, I'm not going to lie. The dopamine hit tonight because I needed some Chipotle.
I understand.
Yeah.
Chipotle is still better than burger and fries.
That's
true. In my head. It's options. It's options, right? Better than ice cream. But those are also dopamine hits, right?
Yes.
So it's like fast food, you know what I mean? Even feeling exhausted and tired. So we're door dashing for the convenience. All of those things are affecting our money, but it's really trying to actually reduce our stress levels, right?
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a realtor can help answer. Because realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
When you choose to earn your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University, you're saying yes to new opportunities and to new adventures. You're saying yes to something big, something you've always wanted to do. If earning your degree is one of your goals this new year, SNHU can help you get there. With low online tuition, no set class times, and multiple term starts per year, you can set the pace that works for you and save money along the way. Visit snhu.edu today to get started.
Get the Honda of your dreams during Happy Honda Days. Whether it's a rugged new Passport, Pilot with available all-wheel drive, or powerful Ridgeline, turn your dream Honda into reality during Happy Honda Days. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 1.9% APR on a 2025 Honda Passport and a 2.9% APR on a 2025 Pilot or Ridgeline.
See dealer for financing details. This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Having those issues of people have different vices, smoking and drinking. Mm-hmm. Those are things that we're spending money on to reduce our stress based on this job. Right. That's killing us, right? But it's affecting our money, issues, right? It's the so it's the overeating, it's the drinking, it's so many different things. It's just shopping. I feel like you can literally go on Amazon or even just anything, Fashion Nova, Shein, your brain just be like throwing stuff. I mean, maybe this is me.
Because I'm about to say, I'll be at Target multiple times a week.
Yeah, I was like just throwing stuff in the cart. I'm like, am I gonna buy that? I don't even need it. Dopamine hits. All of these are just dopamine hits, right? Yeah. So all of these things affect your money, but it's really because you're experiencing all of this work stress, right? Because you're in this toxic environment, and so that's why we want to really work on hey, how do we increase cash flow by figuring out another way to manage your stress, right? So that's what we would be doing as a financial psychologist, right? Because you need to do something different so we can hold some of this money, right? Yes. A lot of times people don't save because they don't have any direction to their money as well. So figuring out okay, what is your vision? And so Dr. Kamani already talked about this a little bit, but when you're at that job, you can't see possibilities anymore, right? You're in that state of depression. You feel stuck. You can't, right? You have a lack of creativity. Your mind just won't even think about what else can I do within my life? Yeah. And so we need to take some time to say, okay, what does that vision look like? And so that's what we cover those things inside the Financial Masterclass. It's let's start to just imagine and think again about and dream again about what we can be, right? What would life look like if I wasn't here? Yes. Right? How do I uncover what are some different talents and abilities and gifts that I have in my life? So then maybe I'm using one gift at this job, but I can use the same gift somewhere else. Or maybe I want to tap into some of my other gifts that I haven't been tapping into, but I forgot all about them.
Because
I let these people, they're stifled because I let these people take over me.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so those are those things.
I'm sorry. A lot of the things that you just mentioned, Dr. Roche, these are like Band-Aids. So you're shopping, you're eating, you're drinking, you're smoking.
Yeah.
Band-Aid short term, but you're not looking at the source of the problem. So if we look at the source of the problem, the source of the stress is that toxic job. So if we can look at, okay, so let's get away from that. What do we need to do? But we need to be more aware of what we're doing. And that's why therapy might be good in addition to working with Dr. Roche for the financial part, because then you're going to start revealing, uncovering a lot of your unresolved issues connected to money. Are there some childhood wounds? Are there some other things that happen to you in relation to money? You got to address that, because you're going to keep making those same money mistakes. So the awareness is so important.
Always key.
Access is a big portion. A lot of people who have grown up poor and now they have corporate money, that having access to that type of salary is new. It's very new. And even like in 2024, salaries are higher than they have ever been. Now, granted, cost of living is also very high. However, for those people who that's not really an issue, the money is still very good. And so you live a lavish lifestyle because you're overcompensating for the lack that you had when you were a child.
Yes.
Am I Brandy, the therapist today?
You are.
Okay, I think you are. Go ahead and psychoanalyze them. Like, speak to the people.
That is a real thing. Like, I think, even if you're not like getting, a whole lot, even if you make $100,000, right? That type of money is not a lot there's not a lot of people who make that type of salary. You think that a lot of people do, but a lot of people do not have access to over $100,000 worth of income. In their home. And so, and you account for all the overspending. You account, that it's just like the connection to those things. And you don't think your childhood trauma, affects how you live your life, but it definitely does. It affects how you interact with people. It affects how you deal with problems inside of the workplace, even problems inside of your own personal life.
Exactly. Right.
It's
how you
so
deal with
powerful. It's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, y'all are just, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question, okay? What is your approach, Dr. Kamani, when you're connecting mental health and financial well-being? And then Dr. Roche, I want you to answer that same question.
Okay.
Like, what is the approach to addressing the connection between the two?
Well, I think it's important to look at like your initial models for money. So what did you see growing up? How did people talk about money? And then how did you internalize that? And what does money mean to you? So when you think about what you just said, Brandy, the thought of, oh my God, this is more money than I've ever made before in my life. So does that mean that you feel even a greater sense of fear about leaving because you feel that I don't know how to replace my income? So if we identify what the specific fears are, then we can identify these are the ways that we're going to address those things, right? So in the Financial Masterclass, one of the things we do is we talk about different options to replace your income. So if this is the fear, then let's talk about what our options are. So really identifying our money story, our money traumas, our money hangups, and ways that we avoid looking at our money, because avoidance is a trauma response. And when I worked with Dr. Roche, she kept asking me questions about money, and I was like, I don't know.
Have a good day.
I don't know, right? And she was like, girl, we're going to have to look at the money. Like, we're going to have to look at the money. She said, well, what amount of money do you need to bring in every month for you to be able to replace so you can leave this job? And I said, I don't know. And at that point, I was like, oh, shoot.
Why did you say that, Dr. Kamani?
Girl, I didn't know, because I really didn't know. I really did not know. And I had to be honest with myself. I felt ashamed that I didn't know. I felt ashamed. But being able to say, I don't know. This is something I need to know. That was the first step, right?
Yeah.
I
Wow.
could have just stayed in the shame and not done anything about it. And
Yeah.
a lot of people stay in the shame. Like Dr. Roche said, you stay in the shame, you stay in the fear, and you just stay stuck. But I knew for me, I needed to get unstuck. I need to get unstuck. So for me as a clinical psychologist is to work with people to identify, number one, what are the things contributing to why you feel this way?
Yeah.
And number two, what are the things contributing to you feeling stuck? And how do we move those barriers out the way so we can move forward and access the resources like Dr. Roche, and then do that, right? Don't just say, oh, Dr. Roche is good. I'll think about it next year. No. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you know that you're hurting, if you know that these things are happening for you, we've identified the resources. What is stopping you from accessing the resource? Because that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other
Why
thing.
are you talking directly to me?
We trying.
Why are y'all talking directly and ministering to me today?
Girl, because we're just trying to pull you. We're trying to pull
Y'all
you.
just need y'all need to stay out my business.
Right.
This is so
We're trying to bring you
good.
along, Brandy.
This is so good. Okay, Dr. Roche, I want to hear from you. So how do you approach the connection to those things?
Okay. I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot. Me. The beauty to me of like who I am, right? Is just more about the fact that people are feeling so much shame and embarrassment that I really am able to lead with the lack of no judgment, right?
Yeah.
There's no judgment, makes it easier for people to talk about it. I really am aware that we all make mistakes, right? We all live in a state of ignorance about something, right? So I'm never worried about those things. So it makes it easier for people to just freely talk. Even saying I don't know it's really just information to me. It's not a judgment. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. Okay, let's get to the knowing. That's all.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm gonna help you get to the knowing, and I'm able to walk you. I just need to know how to walk with you.
Yeah.
Based on where you are, right? So we walk in different ways with different people, or I do, and so that's how I really kind of help people through that process.
Yeah.
And then, and people come for different reasons, right? So when I'm connecting mental health and financial wellness, it could be a toxic job situation, it's very specific to what's going on now, and I'm afraid to leave. Sometimes people are just, talking about debt. Sometimes people are talking about savings. People are talking about benefits, right? So even, that's one of the biggest things that we talk in the Financial Masterclass is wait, what about benefits? Because we scared, about the benefits. So we then cover okay, this is how you can get your own benefits. What do you do as a self-employed person to, develop your own benefits? Wow, it's not as expensive as what your brain thinks it is, right? You actually work harder for it at your job, right? So we kind of look at those things to help people understand, what that's all about. So we do that in Financial Masterclass. And I think that's how I help really connect the mental health and the financial wellness piece. But I let people just have the space to talk about whatever is bothering them, I think the boundaries is really big, so I boundaries with yourself, right? How do you get to tell yourself no? Self-control, discipline is hard.
Boundaries with ourselves.
With ourselves. As I'm saying, that it actually starts there. Boundaries with the self. Okay, so I tell people it's the self part. That's the hard part. We all struggle in some type of area. Okay, some type of area. But also developing that level of boundaries with others. So even as you were referencing people who make $100,000 and overcompensating, one way of overcompensating it may be giving. Especially if you come from a family who did not have, then you feel to whom much is given, much is required. So you find yourself giving to other people,
and you
right?
struggling to pay your rent.
Yes.
No.
Right? You helping somebody else with their bills and messing up your own. What we doing?
Ain't a light about to flicker up in there.
Right. Yeah. So I help people to see those connections, right? Why did I choose to do that? You know what I mean? And how can I make a choice to do something different, with my money?
Oh, and that's so brilliant that Dr. Roche does is that she really helps you identify all the money areas, right? So all the money things that are keeping you at the job, what's the bottom line you need? What are your expenses? What do you need to bring in? Okay, what about your health insurance? But she also talks about retirement. because that's
Yeah.
another thing that keeps us at the job, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what am I going to do about retirement? What? There's options that I have
Yeah.
in relation to my retirement?
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
And she kind of lays it all out, which is brilliant. I love that she does that too.
Yeah. So I was able to learn more practical skills, right? Like, so of course I already was a psychologist, but I learned the practical skills because people don't know, like, what do you do? Like, how does this all work? Like, how does an IRA work? How does a Roth IRA work? Like, what do I do? How do I roll over money? You know, I'm also a licensed life insurance agent as well, which is something that I've done for many years. So like, well, how does life insurance work? Right? Like, there's so many different levels and different steps to life insurance, and we don't understand. Is my life insurance at my job going to come with me? Is it not going to come with me? Should I get my own? So these are all these things that I'm able to, like, you know, help people understand it. And, you know, one of, like, I would believe, like, one of my giftings is making something that's very complex, very simple.
Yeah.
You know, for people to be able to, you know, understand it, at, you know, at an easier, you know, place. So
And you make it fun too. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like, you make
Very
it like
fun.
light, and we laugh, and we, you know,
yes,
you're like, oh my God, oh, this is my stressful thing. Like, you make it like
yes,
funny, and like it
yes,
seems approachable, right? Like, it's
Yes.
not
right,
overwhelming feeling like I can't do this.
yeah, because I
can
really
tell
believe
that
people
about
can do
you,
anything.
too. Yeah, I can tell that about both of you, actually. Like, Dr. Kamani and I think we talked maybe one time, like voice talk, and
Yes,
we carried on that thing. Like, we done been homegirls
Right.
for a very long
right,
time.
Yes.
And you know, that's
Yes.
one thing that I really enjoy about her is like just her
yes,
relatability. And then just meeting you
definitely.
tonight, you definitely have a easygoing personality, and just what you're saying is true. There's no judgment there. You know, it's a place of understanding and trying to support people. And I just have a question: do y'all talk about the IRAs in this masterclass?
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
Hello, people.
yes.
Okay, not only let's before we go into one of our last, you know, questions of the night, because I have maybe like 2 or 3 more. Tell me about the course exactly. Like, how does that start? And then go through the phases of each of your topics and the things that y'all discuss in this course. So whoever wants to start, if y'all want to do it together, that's fine too.
Rochelle, you want to start?
Yeah. Yeah. So the dates are January 8th and 9th, right? Let's get started there. We do it in 2 days, right? Because we're talking about finances, and we want some opportunity for you to let it, you know, soak in and you implement as well, like during the course. So the first day we usually start off with like identifying fears, like, well, that's what Dr. Kamani's like section is really like identifying and confronting your fears. Then we move into, you know, like the vision around like your finances. What does it look like to like leave the job? On the second day, we go into a little bit more like of the practical, tangible things.
Yeah.
And so we go into, you know, identifying those talents and gifts and understanding the importance of multiple streams of income. We go through understanding inflation, taxes, like, you know, those things, investing. So we go into understanding like the benefits, like what are the other options for your benefits in that. We also, I feel like we discussed so many different things. It's like boom, boom,
your
boom.
income, how to replace your
Yeah.
income, what to do about your
Yeah.
retirement, how to roll that over.
Yes. So yeah, we do the life insurance. Yeah, we do all of that. On that second day, we have a workbook.
And the timeline. Rochelle, talk about the timeline.
Yes, right. Yeah, yes. So we have a workbook as well that so you can have something tangible that you can leave. So even if you're not ready to like, you know, leave at this very moment, you can say, hey, I have my like workbook. I know what my action steps are and how to leave.
Yeah.
We actually create a financial timeline. That is like probably key and probably the thing that people love the most.
Yeah.
So we give you like, you know, what do you do if you need to leave immediately? Right? If there is a situation in your life right now where
something
your health
tangible for the attendees of the class.
Yes.
Actual
Yes.
workbook.
Yes. So actual workbook, but we make sure you like, if you want to leave immediately, this is what you need to do. Right. So we give the exact steps on how to do that. We go into, you know, if you have a 6-month plan or if it's like a year plan, you know, that we kind of help you through that as well. And then an additional bonus for those that, you know, come is that they get a 30-minute free opportunity to talk with me one-on-one as well. So those that, you know, are, you know, want to take that up, then we can talk about more specifics. But I like to give that just because everybody has individual situations, and I want them to be able to ask those questions. Of course, you can ask questions during the class as well, but everybody always has like their own individual things that happen too.
Yes. And it's at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, and 4 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, January 8th and 9th. Yes.
January 8th and 9th.
Yeah.
And then what's the cost of the course?
It's $399 as an investment, right? We always tell people like it's an investment.
Because we
and
be in
understanding
Target.
Yes, like right.
And
It's
on
a difference between
Amazon.
Yes. Investment versus like an expense, right? And so what does it mean when you actually invest in something? It means that you're going to get a return, right? And so like, what does that return look like? And we're talking about not just only a financial return, because that will happen as well, but also like the emotional like return and spiritual return of being able to like feel comfortable and confident to leave that toxic job.
Yeah.
If
and
that's what you need to do.
With other Black women as we're going through the process. So you're not alone. And you have 2 licensed Black women clinical psychologists.
Wow.
That is very rare that you get both of us together. And it's not only information, but it's fun. Like we dance, we laugh, we do the whole thing. And we also recognize and value the privacy of the participants because sometimes Black women, we don't want people knowing our business. They want people to know we're trying to leave a job.
Okay, because we do not play about being embarrassed.
Girl, it's Zoom webinar. So no one will know you're there, okay? So your name is not going to be listed. You're not going to be on camera, none of that. So don't let that, stop you from starting to get your financial exit plan together.
Yes. I love
and you get a replay. So you can always look at the replay later.
And get a replay. Okay, yes.
You get a replay.
We're giving it all.
Financial advice.
Yes.
A 30-minute discovery call.
Yes.
Like for $3.99.
Yes.
And if
and
people
two psychologists, not one, but 2.
How much?
Yes.
$3.99. $3.99. We get 2 licensed psychologists.
Black women, okay?
Come on.
Yeah,
they can relate. And Dr. Kamani, you went through your own situation. And Dr. Roche was able to support you with that.
Absolutely.
How did you get to that? Like, how did you get to that point? Like, what were some of the things that happened for you?
How did I get to leaving?
Yes.
Okay. So it was so many things, Brandy. So I'll just do like a consolidated version.
It's like,
on my YouTube channel, I talk a lot more about it, and I've been interviewed by people. So I'm just going to give you a Cliff Notes version, right?
Yeah.
So I used to work for the second largest school district in the nation. I was a licensed clinical psychologist. And when I first started working there, it was great. I had 2 Black women supervisors. They were fantastic. I loved them. I'm still friends with them. Okay.
Yeah.
But then when they retired, I knew I was going to be in trouble because I knew the system was toxic. But when you have good supervisors, many times they can protect you. And then when they left, I was like, it's going to be a problem. And it really was. And so what I experienced in a nutshell, which is a number of events that happened where I went from pet to threat. So pet to threat, 3 Black women researchers created that term, which is, first let me call their names because people steal their work. And I always want to say their names. So Dr. Juanita Johnson-Bailey, Dr. Keisha Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Phelps. So pet to threat deals with when a Black woman comes in the workplace. Oh, we love Brandy. She's so smart. Oh my God, she's saving this whole organization. She's a pet. And then Brandy starts getting more attention than other people. And there's a shift in terms of how she's seen and treated as you're the threat. We got to get you out. That's exactly what happened to me. I didn't have the terminology for it, but that's what happened to me. And so I went from the pet to the threat, and I started experiencing things where they were trying to really humiliate me. Like they demoted me without any clear reason why, right? Demoted me. And they start doing things, very humiliating things to me in a way. And I call it psychological lynching, where it felt like they were getting in my head, trying to make me feel like I'm less than, but I'm more than, right? Make me think I'm less than. And it was a way to say, oh, okay, you think you all that? I'm going to put you in your place. I'm going to demote you, right? And then I'm going to have people look at you and see you and say, oh, I don't want to be like her, so I'm going to stay in my place. And so all this stuff kept happening, Brandy. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I fighting for? And at first, I was like, I'm gonna fight these fools, right? I'm gonna fight these fools, right?
Oh, they ain't gonna run me up out of here.
Right? And I was like, oh, I'm Harriet Tubman at this job. So I'm gonna go Underground Railroad. I was doing all the things, right? But it got to a point, I said, wait a minute, why am I Underground Railroad?
And you is a psychologist.
I'm a psychologist. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Baby, you should have had a V8 because they had you down bad.
Girl, they were in my head. They were in my head. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, the other part too, this is the part I can relate to so many Black women about, is that I was telling myself that I was a Harriet Tubman at that job for Black students. So I believed that I had to stay there to fight for the rights of Black students. And I was like, I'll take it because I'm gonna do this stuff for the Black students. I'm just gonna keep doing it. But they were clear that they were not gonna let me do anything. So they kept saying, oh, we don't have the funding for this. We don't have the funding. Well, when a whole bunch of money came into the school district for Black students, right? And I have been doing all this stuff for Black students. All this money came in, and they're telling other people, oh, Dr. Kamani's going to be doing your trainings, and she's going to be doing this, she's going to be doing that. They're telling me, listen to me, they're telling me you can have no involvement with that program at all. None. So they're telling them that, they're telling me this, and I'm like, okay, this is crazy, man. What am I doing here?
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly represent you and put your interests above their own, because that's who we are.
When you choose to earn your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University, you're saying yes to new opportunities and to new adventures. You're saying yes to something big, something you've always wanted to do. If earning your degree is one of your goals this new year, SNHU can help you get there. With low online tuition, no set class times, and multiple term starts per year, you can set the pace that works for you and save money along the way. Visit snhu.edu today to get started.
Get the Honda of your dreams during Happy Honda Days with a sporty new Civic, Accord, HR-V, or CR-V. Turn your dream Honda into reality during Happy Honda Days. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 Honda Accord or CR-V, a 4.9% APR on a 2025 Civic, and a 3.9% APR on a 2025 HR-V. Visit your local Honda dealer or shop online today.
See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic Si and Type R. This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Right? And at that point, I took a leave of absence. I was like, I need to get out of here, right? And then I started working with Dr. TK, who is Dr. Roche's friend. Yeah. I started working with Dr. TK, who's a Black woman clinical psychologist, to help me get my private practice together. Because I started thinking, okay, if I'm leaving this job, I need to figure out how to replace my income. So I looked at what is the lowest hanging fruit? Oh, I'm a therapist. I can go and do telehealth for myself. That's exactly what I started doing. Then I met Dr. Roche, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do my therapy and I get my financial exit plan together. Okay, we got this. And I'm telling you, Brandy, when I was on that leave of absence, so many opportunities started coming my way that I never could have envisioned. Never. Okay?
But it wasn't until you made the decision.
It wasn't until
I was Glory be to God.
Right? And so I got all the
Lord.
stuff together, right? I was in therapy, all this other stuff. And my therapist was telling me, Black woman therapist, and she said, I was saying to her, why would God do this to me? I'm a good person. I'm a good employee. I'm loyal. I'm all these things. She said, girl, this is a rescue mission from God.
Yes.
Out of there because you deserve to be somewhere where you are valued, and you're too big for that place. It's too small.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And she saw that, but I was like, really? I don't know. Right. But I kept kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get out of here. But I couldn't make that final thing, Brandy. I was on a leave. I still couldn't make the final leap. And Dr. Roche was like, during the leave, I still couldn't do it. And Dr. Roche was like, she said, Dr. Kamani, you're going to be good. Like, in fact, you're going to be more than okay. If you go back to that job, you're losing money. Like, do it. And it was the fear. Even though I knew I had the money, I knew how to replace my income, I knew I hated that place, I still couldn't do it. Right? Having all these symptoms and stuff. But what made me do it, I was in the shower one day and I heard the voice of God say to me, if you go back to that job, it's a death sentence. Brandy, I got out that shower. I got dressed. I sent an email immediately. I am resigning effective immediately. Okay. I will not be back there. Throw away all my stuff. I will not be back there. And I called out
you ain't even go get the ficus?
Nothing. Okay. Nothing. I was like, you throw all that stuff away.
That's like I'm about to quit my job for real. You go back and get that plant.
Girl, I ain't gonna know. You keep all that stuff. I don't ever want to see you again, right? I called out all the people in the email, all the bullies, did the whole thing, and I was done.
You wrote an email?
Yeah. And then later that day, I did a video for YouTube. It was a short to Beyonce's You Won't Break My Soul. Right? Like, I'm taking my soul back from this job that was trying to break my soul. So that was my story, just overview. But, while I was still on the leave, I started talking about my experiences on YouTube. That's how my YouTube channel started. Because I started talking about my experiences. I took Stephanie Perry's YouTube challenge, and she's like, well, what are you going to talk about? And I was like, I don't know, maybe Black women toxic jobs. She was like, girl, do that today. Okay.
Today, and do not wait.
And I started doing it. First, I was on Instagram. Then I went over to YouTube, and Brandy, Black women from around the world have been contacting me. OMG. That is my experience. OMG. That was over 2.5 years ago. And I'm still talking about it, because so many Black women are asking me to talk about it, and it's therapeutic for me. This is part of my healing. So when I'm on YouTube, I just light up. You know what I mean? Like, I just light up. I'm just like telling my business. Before this all happened, I was never on social media. Never. Okay. Now I'm always on social media. You know why? Because I want Black women to see, if I can do this, a woman private who don't like social media, if I can do this, you can do it too. Yes. And those fools that try to humiliate me and try to silence me, I was like, oh, you gonna try to silence me? Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get on YouTube. I'm gonna get on YouTube, and I'm gonna start a movement for Black women to leave toxic jobs. Okay, so you mess with the wrong one, but it's a way for me to channel that energy to something else. And now I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
And that's why it happened.
Period.
Right? That's why it happened. Those blessings in disguise.
Making the decision is so important.
Yes.
You have to be a person that is decisive. Because indecisiveness could have killed you.
Yes.
It could have put you in the ground.
I was getting really sick, girl. I was getting
it's not even worth it. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the frustration. And I'm gonna just be very candid while we're here. Before we logged on, I told Miss Dr. Kamani, I said, baby, let me tell you, time is winding up. And if you done been in the church, you know exactly what song I am referencing. Okay, let every ear hear. Come on now, are you listening, baby? The time is winding up. It is winding up, and I made that decision. I say, not my mental health.
No.
Right.
Come on.
No.
You need
Oh,
to make a decision. Because when
Yes.
you start not feeling like not wanting to do the things that you love to do,
no.
because you burned out and tired from your job, you
Yes.
need to make a decision.
For real.
Yes,
For
definitely.
real.
Definitely.
I was
Big
even
time.
thinking, Brandy, I was like, do I even want to be a psychologist anymore when I was at that
Wow.
job? And I was like, I want to do all this training, all those
Mhm.
student loans, all that stuff. But I was literally thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to be a psychologist anymore, because if it's this, I don't want to be that anymore. But now, guess what? I love
Mhm.
being a psychologist.
Wow.
I love being a psychologist.
And that's because it wasn't the career, it was the people.
Yes.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was the
It was
people,
the environment.
toxic
Yeah.
people, the environment was
Yeah.
providing you all of
They'll
this
suck your
stress and
dreams away.
yes, and making you second guess your ability, your skill, and you
Yes.
start breaking down the things that you love. Child, I tell
Yeah.
you one thing,
Mm-hmm.
y'all better get up in this class
Yeah.
because they done laid it down from the top all the way down to the bottom of everything
Yeah.
that's going to be laid out in this class. All of the support that you are going to receive, the privacy, number one. Okay, privacy is very, very important because you want to be able to be candid and make sure that you are being, safe in this space and people are going to hear what you're saying. And you're in a room in space with people who are just like you, who are struggling just like you. So there's no judgment. Nobody's gonna, judge you for not being able to spend the money or overspending, I should say, because they're doing that too. Nobody is going to judge you. And so I really, really appreciate y'all for making a space for us. Okay. I thank you so much because that is
you for keeping us laughing.
Oh,
yes.
Who want to cry, and
Right.
vibes. So you are really doing a service for helping us laugh and release those happy hormones.
Thank you.
Really toxic situations. So I appreciate what you're doing, girl.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. And see, it's just so much love up in here, y'all. And I ain't know these people. It's just love. You ain't no hating, ain't no overstepping. It's just love. And that's what y'all are going to feel when you go over to this financial class. Can you let everyone know where they can get this link? First of all, I'm going to make sure the link is in the podcast. So the link is going to be in the podcast. I'm going to make sure it's in my bio for everyone to sign up. Patreon is going to have early access to sign up. But where can they go to listen to this course, even if it's after?
So it'll be on my website, which is liftinguspwithclimbconsulting.com. And it's also going to be if they go to like the waiting list or if they try to purchase it at any point. So in my YouTube description section, it will always have the Financial Masterclass to access the replay. So there's different ways for them to access the replay as well. Yeah. But the live is so much better.
Yes, it is.
Well, closing out, do y'all have any closing statements, anything that y'all want to say to the listeners out there?
I would just say, let's get free together. Okay. Right. Let's get free together. Why not have the support that you need, in order to make this next move, right? Yeah. It can be scary. It's going to cause anxiety. Anxiety is a part of the level of growth in something that's changing and something that's new. But when you have somebody holding your hand, it makes it a lot easier to make it through to the next level. Right. So, let's go see what's on the other side and then we can do it together.
Yes. And I want to say, let's get our financial house in order as we're walking into this new year. And I know that people have a lot of questions and anxiety about what's happening, but we need to get ready. Okay. We need to always be ready and be prepared for what might happen and to know that you're not alone, sis. You're not alone. And we are here with you. We don't want you to live a life of misery. I always say, when I was at the toxic job, I used to wake up in dread. And I know that God and our ancestors never wanted us to wake up any day in dread. And so knowing that there is a possibility, there really is a possibility. We're not gaslighting you. We're not lying to you.
Yeah.
You really have the possibility of leaving that toxic job and finding other ways to replace your income. You'll find ways to budget your retirement and your health insurance. There is another way. Believe in yourself. Know you deserve better. Know there's resources available to you, but you have to open your hand and take the resources too. You have to take that step forward, but we are walking with you. You are part of a community of Black women who are taking our power back.
Wow. And if that don't make y'all want to sign up, good God. You just gonna stay at this doggone job at this point. Okay, you need to make the decision, and don't let anybody make it for you. Don't have, talking to your friends and they in the same situation as you. They're gonna keep you in that same spot, and you'll never be able to reach your full potential because you keep saying no to yourself.
Yes. Because only you live your life.
Yeah.
So if your friends or family's telling you, "Oh, stay there, girl. You don't know whether to," you know that a job is not a good job if it's harming you. That's Stephanie Perry.
No.
And if you're accessing your health care benefits, those good benefits, because the job is making you sick, that's why I was at the dang doctor so much. Because the job was making me sick.
Yeah, right.
That is not a good job. It's not a good job. So stop lying to yourself. Stop lying. I used to lie to myself all the time. Oh, this job ain't that bad. It's not that bad. Well, at least I'm getting a check. Oh, yes, it was that bad.
It's that bad.
Yes, it was.
You at the
If
doctor
you saying that, it's that bad.
Stressed out,
right?
Hair falling out, head hurting. You got migraines,
panic attacks. Yeah,
come on, panic attacks, anxiety,
Sunday scaries,
high levels
IBS,
of stress,
stomach aches, all kind of stuff. Yeah.
IBS,
Yes,
weight
gain. Right.
Oh, girl. Yes.
A job will tear you down.
Yes, it will.
Tear you
anxiety,
down.
PTSD. Yeah.
Not a good job, y'all. A bad one. I'm just
a bad
one.
Yes.
Because there are some great working environments out there. I will say, but there are a lot.
But still, don't be toxic to you.
Oh,
you can be in a good environment and still be doing too much to yourself.
Come on.
So like not overworking, and you can cause burnout.
I mean, we can just continue the conversation, ma'am, because we love the capes.
Okay,
we gonna burn the capes. No,
I mean, I just did a podcast episode last night, and this young lady emailed and said that when she got to this company, she decided that she was gonna go in there and change this whole scenario that they had going on because she couldn't let it go on any further. And I'm like, why are you going here saving these damn people? Right. They didn't ask to be saved.
Girl, exactly. My friend said, we do not own a plantations. So why are we trying to save these organizations? Are they trying to save you?
Right.
That's why we focus on the people. I focus on the folk. Corporations, baby, no. The people that's up in there, they need to know what type of game they playing and how sometimes they are just a piece on the board.
Yeah.
And when you no longer serve your purpose, they're gonna put you to the side and get another piece. Get somebody else that can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it really is.
Like on Sunday, Brandy, how people can die at the job and they don't even know the person's dead. Wells Fargo. What? Yes.
You think I'm finna live my life every day to die at work?
That part, yes.
We're staring at the camera podcast.
Yeah, we all did it too.
You think I'm gonna get up and live my life every day just to die at my job?
No.
It is not worth it. And a lot of times people get caught up in the politics of work. That's what really make work negative. Like this, we need to bring this back for podcast part 2. Okay.
Right.
That is what supply. It's the negativity that's inside of the workplace that they get sucked into. And that's what turns it into a negative space. And so, I really wish that, a lot of people sign up for this course. I really hope that y'all are listening to Dr. Roche, that y'all are listening to Dr. Kamani, because they have been dropping gems all night long. Make the decision is what I got out of this, because the word was for me and it wasn't even supposed to be. Okay, Dr. Kamani was talking to me right through them glasses. We was glasses to glasses today. Make the decision, Brandy. I'm like, why is you in my business, man? Okay? You need to mind your business. But sometimes it's stepping on the toes. We really have to just make the decision to move forward. And so preparing yourself is what I got out of this message. Preparing yourself and getting ready financially with Dr. Roche is so many different things that we can do to make ourselves to be in a better situation than we are today.
Yes.
So it's not by happenstance that the class is at the top of the year. I would imagine.
Right, not at all. Very intentional.
There's a lot of things we do at the top of the year. Everybody trying to go get that Ozempic. That's $3.99.
Yeah.
That Ozempic $3.99. Y'all can skip a month. Okay. You won't need that damn Ozempic if you quit this job.
You're probably overeating, stress eating because of the dang job.
You hear me?
Right.
Over here at Wendy's because it's job.
Yeah, because it's job.
We won't even need no Ozempic. Okay? Right. We go V, because I love that commercial. Yeah. We go V.
We go V. Commercial. They got you.
They got me with that commercial, child. Oh my God. But it has been such a pleasure and such a good kiki, because I love me a good kiki.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies. Y'all hang out. We are going to end the podcast here for you. Dr. Kamani, Dr. Roche, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Everybody else, we'll see y'all on the internet, and I'm going to end the podcast now.
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly represent you and put your interests above their own, because that's who we are.
When you choose to earn your degree online from Southern New Hampshire University, you're saying yes to new opportunities and to new adventures. You're saying yes to something big, something you've always wanted to do. If earning your degree is one of your goals this new year, SNHU can help you get there. With low online tuition, no set class times, and multiple term starts per year, you can set the pace that works for you and save money along the way. Visit snhu.edu today to get started.
Get the Honda of your dreams during Happy Honda Days with a sporty new Civic, Accord, HR-V, or CR-V. Turn your dream Honda into reality during Happy Honda Days. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 Honda Accord or CR-V, a 4.9% APR on a 2025 Civic, and a 3.9% APR on a 2025 HR-V. Visit your local Honda dealer or shop online today.
See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic Si and Type R.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.